Me, Audrey, Zatsa, and thanks for watching. In response to Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji's communique instructing the identification and interpellation of some persons who claim to be members of the EIS movement, the collective or movement together with Teachers Union for Africa have reacted, pleading on the government to stop intimidating teachers, but rather engage in a frank dialogue with the real representatives of the EIE, OTA, SEVCAM, and the SECA movement to solve their claims. The Garwa Regional Hospital will be officially inaugurated this Tuesday, May 10, at Berkeley in Garwa 3 subdivision. Prime Minister and Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Guti, arrived at the Garwa International Airport yesterday, warmly received and welcomed by driving forces of the North region of the country. The Prime Minister will officiate the event as a personal representative of President Paul Biya. A few days after the celebration of the Feast of the Ramadan, some Muslim faithfuls exempted from fasting have started compensating via fast. The following report focuses on the Ramadan period and those exempted from fasting, particularly women.
As one of the 5 pillars or duties of Islam, fasting during the month of Ramadan is mandatory for all healthy adult Muslims, but there are some exceptions to the rule. The elderly, travelers, those who are physically or mentally incapable of fasting, above all pregnant or nursing mothers, and even menstruating women are exempted from fasting as they are considered ritually impure for the duration of their bleeding.
As it came in the hadith reported by Aisha, that we don't used to fast if we are menstruating. So when a woman is menstruating, she's not supposed to fast. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, as for those that they are sick, that means, and the weak ones, whom they feel that they cannot fast, for example, a pregnant woman, if she fears for her baby in the womb, she's not supposed to fast until she lay down her burden. If a woman just put to bed and the postpartum bleeding is still going on, she is not supposed to fast until the maximum of 40 days pass.
In order to take full advantage of the blessed month of Ramadan, menstruating women and those with postnatal bleeding can do more than refraining from ritual prayer and ritual fasting to compensate the fast and draw near to Allah.
If a woman that was not able to fast in this month of Ramadan, like the old ones, the weak ones, they are supposed to give half a Nsah a day. For example, you give 2 mot, which is put your full arms together, you put the hands together, you put 1 and you put 2. That will be half, you divide it, we can say that 1.5 kilogram of what you feed the family every day. So you should give 1.5 kilogram of rice maybe every day to the family or to those that they are unable to fast. When the days has passed, she count the number of days she paid back this month.
Still, some Muslim women have expressed discomfort at the inherent stigma the rule creates around menstruation and making up for the missed days. But failing to pay back the fast means being a debtor to Allah.
And if it happens that the woman did not pay this fast, she knows that she is a debtor with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because someone who is sick, if he or she died during and she is owing some fast, for example, that she started fasting or she started fasting and during Ramadan, maybe her menses come or she's sick and passed away, the family is supposed to pay this.
The Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, when Muslims worldwide traditionally fast between sunrise and sunset. Not eating and drinking during the daytime is seen as a way to learn self-discipline, clean the soul, and thank Allah.
6 staffers have successfully graduated from the Celine Trade Union Institute of Vocational Training. The colorful graduation ceremony of this first batch took place over the weekend in Bamenda. Charles Kibwa recounts.
The graduation and induction of 6 staffers, first batch of MESAM Staff Celine Trade Union Institute of Vocational Training, MIVOT, took place May 7, 2022 at Blue Pearl, Bamenda. The colorful ceremony bringing family members of the laureates, loved ones, and Merchels Tutu members
to send the first batch of students that have been trained under this institute, this vocational training institute. The first batch is actually graduating today, and it is within the framework of all of what I've explained to you that we are sending them out as new technicians and future engineers of staff in Cameroon.
MIVOT, created in 2019, as a result of the Anglophone crisis to respond to the humanitarian needs of young school dropout Cameroonians, contribute their own quarter of nation building by saying into it that they give hope, train these young Cameroonians irrespective of their gender, take up beautiful profession in civil engineering, particularly that of internal and external decoration. Nge Wilfred, president of Melchel Institute, weighing the laureates, congratulate the 6 staffers the institution is sending into the job market, appreciating them and their masters for their steadfastness and discipline seeing them complete this course, thus building hope for their lives. MIVOT Director Nyama Marcel Gamsi disclosed the 6 graduates had gone through their various training designed to meet up with what the market needs.
Have particularly been drilled in professionalism, ethics, and deontology of the profession. We expect high standards, in fact the highest standards that you can find in a sub-region. These are candidates who have worked in Chad, in Central African Republic, under these enterprises that is partnering with us to dish them out today.
He encouraged those who can support young people's school dropouts to get to Melchel Institute, partner with other NGOs, train these young Cameroonians, curb unemployment, juvenile delinquency, and negative ills in our society. In a pledge, the laureates promised before their masters who trained them will keep the institution's flag flying high.
Congratulating the MIVOT, the Institute, on the behalf of my team. That collaboration, working in hand, we will make sure we progress and take the other youths that are important, that think they are not for any job or anything. We will make them understand that there is nothing impossible until determined.
MIVOT Director Nyama Maxel announced 1 position for a fully funded scholarship and 4 positions for tuition, encouraging particularly the girl child meet up with professional training. Award of end of course certificates to laureates and photographs grace the day.
We turn to our health page to talk about parents mistaking signs and symptoms on a baby, which generally leads to the loss of lives of these vulnerables. Colette Loom spoke with a medical doctor to enlighten parents. Her report.
Side pain is a sickness not scientifically proven. Most often, when a baby or a child between the ages of 3 and above falls sick with a temperature and cold feet, parents or benefactors term the illness side pains. As such, they turn to traditional healers for concoctions.
There are a couple of things that when they happen, or a couple of symptoms that when a child has, some parents consider that this child has what they call side pain or konabele or la rat.
In such cases, these kids are sometimes cut by the side with the help of a blade, and black substances apply on the bleeding wounds. There have been cases where these sick children get worse and are rushed to hospitals. Though in hospitals, the scenarios demonstrated by their parents are usually unpleasant, especially towards the doctors.
Now, when they're bringing this child to the hospital, it's not like they're coming. Most of the time, you see, it's not like they're coming to ask for your help or something. It's like they're just coming to say, okay, I went to the hospital. So
our medical doctor expatiates on the right thing to do in case a child manifests such symptoms, usually attributed to side pains.
Before making that conscious decision, the conscious decision of taking the child to the hospital or to a traditional healer, you should be aware of at least the complications that this can bring.
At the end of the day, these kids are vulnerable and tender. Thus, best option is medical care.
Still on health, we continue with our series on mental health disorders on the rise in women. We talk psychosis, which is characterized by a loss of contact with reality. Bokengo Wadi for more.
Psychosis is a mental health condition that affects a person's way of thinking, perception, as well as make it difficult for them to differentiate what is real and unreal. This health condition is highly prevalent in nursing mothers.
Mental disorder is any problem that affects the reasoning of anybody. It is very common and it's of the rising now in most women that have given birth. And one of the possible explanations is because of the difference in the expectations of women during childbirth and what they actually experience during childbirth.
Though it is said to be a rare mental health condition, psychosis is one of the most severe mental health conditions as it affects the brain, triggered by psychiatric illness such as schizophrenia, drug use, and medication. Though early diagnosis is key in treating the health condition, recognizing some signs and symptoms including delusion, hallucination is essential.
Mood swings, false beliefs, false ideas, like a woman sits and she starts imagining people coming into the room with knives trying to kill her. So we have this false belief, seeing false things, and there is also the thought of suicide.
Being an abnormal condition of the mind affecting about 20 million people worldwide, experts say family therapy, occupational therapy, palliative care, talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, together with medication, are some ways to help manage psychosis.
We move out of the country. Rwanda government has suspended Miss Rwanda beauty pageant over alleged sexual abuse of contestants by the organizers. The Rwandan Ministry of Youth and Culture made the pronouncement on Monday, May 9, 2022. In a communique on April 26, a case of sexual abuse was opened by Rwanda Investigation Bureau. The case involves the person on the helm of Miss Rwanda organization, Dieudonné Ishum, popularly known as Prince Kid, who was arrested over sexual abuse of girls who participated in Miss Rwanda through years. The Rwandan media reported that the Investigation Bureau confirmed the arrest of a second person in relation to this case, Miss Rwanda 2017, Iradikunda Elsa, who is accused of tampering with investigation on the first case. President Paul Kagame has criticized the organizers for preying on contestants and encouraged victims to come out and denounce these practices in order for judicial institutions and other relative or relevant institutions to address the issue. As the race to solve aid workers trapped in a zinc mine enters its third week, Burkinabe authorities are still cautiously hopeful. A government delegation traveled recently to the Canadian-operated mine located in the city of Pekwa on April 18. Miners were trapped as the underground section of the mine flooded due to heavy rains. A family of miners, 6 Burkinabes, a Zambian and a Tanzanian, have continued to campaign for accountability as rescuers battled to pump water out of the mine. That was it for today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama with the technical assistance of Chinda Romeo. And Chinda Romeo, thanks for watching, faithful viewers. You have details of these stories and many more stories on 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina, and 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fun Quinta. Coming up next is In the House with Eileen Sama and The Brief with Lasha Kingsley and Gladys Bomotongina. Have a nice time.